Friday marks 8 years of civil war in Syria, and today we're taking a look at how the ongoing conflict has shaped what some call one of the world's worst refugee crises. Let's take a look at the numbers. At least 6.2 million Syrians are internally displaced, while another 5.7 million have sought refuge abroad. 13 million people in Syria are believed to be in dire need of humanitarian aid. The war is also affecting healthcare in Syria. An estimated 1.5 million people have been left with permanent disabilities, and it's uncertain when and if Syrians will ever be allowed to rebuild and return to their homes. I want to bring in Allaa Barri from London. She's the program manager of the Middle East and North Africa program at Chatham House. Thank you very much, Allaa, for joining us. So this crisis, it's been years in the making. Can you sort of start off by telling us how these people, where they go once they start to seek refuge and what the challenges are at this point?
As you previously mentioned in your report, there has been over 5.6 million refugees who had been forced to flee the country. 90% of these refugees are based in the Middle East. We can see that most of them went to neighboring countries, including Lebanon, Turkey, Jordan, Iraq and Egypt. Out of these 5.6, almost 1 million are in Europe. Germany and Sweden have taken the majority of Syrian refugees population in Europe. And we can see little numbers in the U.S. 33,000 Syrian refugees went to the U.S. and 54,000 in Canada.
When you look at the 1 million refugees in Europe, how are they being received abroad?
Well, refugees risk everything in their life to take this journey to Europe, and in order to protect their children and families. However, in the past few years, some of the media have been channeling bad images of refugees and showing refugees as a burden on the financial need, in the financial or the economy of Europe. And that's why Europeans might perceive refugees as a burden on their economy. However, these refugees, they've been dying in the sea. 1 out of 18 refugees die crossing the Mediterranean Sea, and they are only trying to reach better, safer places in order to protect themselves from dying. So in the past few years, it has been like people systematically worked on dehumanizing refugees in order for us to see refugees as numbers, and it's okay for us, for them to die in the sea. So yes, we should, yeah.
Allaa, you talk about just how dangerous this journey is. An estimated 83% of Syrians actually live below the poverty line. We said earlier that there's an estimated 13 million people who are in need of some form of humanitarian aid. How do you deal with it? You saw my colleague Jonathan Vigliotti's report. How do you get these people inside of their own countries' help?
You're right. Almost half of the population are in need of humanitarian aid now. The UN and the international humanitarian organization have been working on providing humanitarian aid to those who are in need. However, they lacked access to some of the areas that are not under the regime control. They only been able to deliver in areas that the regime allowed them to access. humanitarian aid should not be used as we should not like even the UN should not accept to be used by the regime as a tool to punish those who opposed him and force them to surrender or even like give themselves give the government legitimacy again.
So if it is too dangerous and the resources aren't there for these refugees to return home, and there are countries who just don't want to accept them in, what do you think needs to happen now?
We cannot return refugees to a country where war still exists. These refugees fled their country because of what happened and the rise of violence and persecution. Unless we reach a political settlements that provide justice and protect rights of all Syrian individuals, we cannot speak about returning these refugees. The same for returning IDPs to areas that they fled from. You cannot force refugees to return to areas under the regime control after they were being forced to flee their cities because of the regime bombing them.
Allaa, Barri, thank you very much for your time, Allaa.
Thank you, Reena.